Hey! Lisbon is blooming, you can tell that. Lisbon Design Week is covering 80 locations this year with craftsmen, artisans, artists and designers. As far as it's not possible to cover all of them, we're gonna give it a try. Let's go.
So this time because we've been working in the last 2 years a lot in furniture and designing for pieces for projects, we decided that it would make sense to showcase these designs that we've made for a particular project and also new designs that we made just for our own collections. So we wanted to kind of also introduce us to the Portuguese crowd because a lot of our clients are international. We're selling worldwide, so we wanted to create a space where people get to know our team, they get to know our studio, and they get to know our pieces live, not just through photos. So we created an installation where we use one material, which is salt. This material derives from a research and a project that we did in the Algarve, in the south of Portugal, where we used rock salt from a salt mine, which is located 300 meters deep into the earth. We used 2 million old salt to create blocks that generated a salt bench, like a bench for the restaurant. With the use of that material, we knew that we wanted to explore the material further. We knew that we wanted to create a furniture collection with material. We've continued testing this material to understand the properties and the capacities and the challenges of using a living material. As we know, salt is a material that reacts with temperature and especially with the humidity. So we use this material in our advantage. So we created a series of furniture where the first one we introduced yesterday, which is a salt and a stone table. We created a kind of trays that hold the stone and the salt. And the idea is that these trays will be able to accommodate any water that these salt pieces will release when there is more humidity. So we wanted this table to really express this performative aspect of the material. It's a living material. We wanted for the table to really express that. We didn't want to encapsulate the material in resin or any other material because we want people to actually benefit from this material. It not only retracts pollution, it works as a dehumidifier, which is great when you have a lot of humidity in the air. So why not really use it in our advantage? So the first piece is literally a set of trays which has this very strong carving effect on the stone. The idea behind it is that, like the bar counter that we did for this project in the Algarve, in the restaurant, we wanted to express visually the signs of carving that you see when you go to these salt mines, because the machines that are there to excavate the salt create this sort of scooping effect. So we also did in the stone. We wanted to really celebrate that. So that's the first piece. We're going to introduce another piece in a couple of weeks, which is also another side table, where we, like this piece, we are using just a small number of stone pieces, because we want to elevate the stone to a gemstone level. The stone has amazing properties, visual properties too. When you put a light behind it, it looks like onyx. So we wanted to like really engage and celebrate that kind of outlook. And we have a couple of more pieces, but I cannot disclose now. But they are on track to be launched in a couple of months.
I did a prep in my studio because my pieces take a long time to make, like a chair probably it's 1 week. So I couldn't make all the parts here, and I use a lot of heavy machines, not only the hand tools. And it's an opportunity to show the pieces, because normally the clients and the people only see the final object, a chair. And I really like to show the pieces and how it's made, and I don't know, and it's a way people value our work too, understand how hard it is. I think I started to make woodwork because wood is a very good material to materialize ideas. The tradition of woodwork that I use, it's more like the European one, the tools, the European tools, but my reference as a Brazilian are Brazilian reference. So I mix both the old technique with my input from my reference from Brazil. First I do like a sketch in the paper, and then I see in the computer, in a very simple like mechanism in the computer, to find the angles, because I'm not good with mathematics. So I need to find it, because all my pieces have like very precise angles, and I can't have it in a drawing, right? And then I go straight to the piece. I don't have like a prototype or anything of it. I think I can already imagine the piece in my head, so I don't need to like try it. Of course, there are pieces that I like more than others, but normally I don't test a piece. I go just to the final piece. I think trends many times aren't good when everyone starts to do the same thing, like the fluffy or the round or the organic that there is in the trend now. I think I don't like trends, but I really like references. In Portugal, they are very good with crafts. And there is these people moving to here that are like, there is a movement of lifestyle. Many people that move for Portugal, I think it's about the lifestyle, so they are reinventing themselves. A good vibe now with all the creatives and the makers. So I think that everyone is trying to put ideas out from the paper, so everyone is helping each other. I think it's a good vibe. I think really Portugal is doing a lot of stuff that we're going to see like from the future to the back, and see how, wow, it was a big wave. It wasn't like just a trend, it was a movement.
I'm introducing some new pieces especially for the exhibition. So I work mainly with ceramic, stoneware precisely, and also porcelain for the hanging lights. Everything is handmade in my atelier here in Portugal by me. I do unique pieces or limited series, and I also do like the paintings. For now I do ceramics, wood and paintings, but in the future I would like to try glass, metal, let's see what comes to me. The room is not super big, so the challenge for me was how to fit a space with kind of a big table and feel in a living room typically. And so yeah, it took me a lot of time to think about it, and after then to create the pieces. I've been living here for 5 years now. Yeah, and I started ceramic when I came here because it's the country of ceramics and it belongs a lot to the history of the country. So I really wanted to put my hands in the clay and try things. For me, since I'm a self-taught designer and ceramist, I didn't take classes, so I really depend on the contacts and the network, like talking to people. Here in Portugal, the creative community is really nice for that kind of things. It's like they share what they know, and for me, it's where I learn. It's in the knowledge of others. It's a matter of sharing things. So I'm really intimate with the community here.
I'm a woodworker since 2016, and I do mainly furniture, tables, benches, and sculpturing, let's say this. And in this case, I did a table and a shelf. Both pieces are done with French oak, fumed with ammoniac, and I used for a contrast piece, let's say this, driftwood. So that one on the shelf came from Açores, and I shipped it to Lisbon, and the other ones are from the North Portugal beach area, which I also brought. And my idea is always to try and use textured and rough appearance initially on the pieces, but in the end we want this minimalist and clean design, at least what I say in terms of wood. Right?
I'm Christian Loeb. My background is all in like jewelry design and production. And then after the past few years I decided to move on, like always connected with the metal, but start designing more like cutlery sets, sculpture too in the end of the day, but something more related with like tableware too and home design. And the main pieces that I'm showing in here, it's more like conceptual cutlery, and the dishes, they can be used in the end of the day, but it's not going to be that easy too. And then I designed the chairs and some sculptures that are still in studies. It was like, it's kind of a new experience that I'm trying to do with iron, but kind of creating this kind of rough look, and all the metal always gives you kind of the direction that you want to play with it.
So we work in the same space, so it was really easy for us to combine our different backgrounds, because we basically are partners in crime. When I started woodworking, there were maybe 3 or 4. One of them is Vasco from Barracão, and there was almost no new age, let's say, these woodworkers. And now, obviously, every day I see Instagram there, someone that is starting, and I think it's amazing because there is a big gap between old woodworkers and new woodworkers.
It's more, Portuguese design is more about technique than about design in the end of the day.
Yes, maybe.
And for example, if you go to Scandinavia and
you have amazing...
Like that, it's really simple lines, the quality of the work.
But you can see Scandinavian,
But it's Scandinavian.
You can see.
Portuguese, I think you still have like some kind of ancestry of like the technique, and it's mainly the technique tells you how to work with it. And then the design comes after. That's interesting, yeah.
And now maybe I think the design now is catching up to the technique, you know?
So my name is Vasco and I'm an architect slash woodworker slash designer slash... It's a lot of craft. Yeah, so I work mainly with wood, and for this exhibition, me and Martinho, which is a glass designer, we came up with an idea of contaminating each other's process. So the idea was for me to create shapes for Martinho to blow into. So these shapes were thought together, and after they have been blown into and scarred by the glass's temperature, the works came back to my workshop and we gave it function. So, for example, in this case, we created a corner which was blown into, and I used that corner as a pyramid, as a base for a coffee table, and used a metal part as a connecting material between the wood and the glass. Yeah, in this case as well, and this is a very evident part of the contamination, which is I created the mold with Martinho's shape. We blown the glass into the mold and let it be contaminated by the temperatures and whatever it created while being blown. And then I got back the molds and worked together to create a piece of furniture, not only a piece of wood or a mold, but something special and definitely unique. Portuguese family, if not your mom, your dad, your uncle, someone knows someone who works with wood, or someone knows someone who works with glass. And the craftsmanship, it's so close to us that as Portuguese we tend not to value so much. But this new generation of designers and architects and all of that, they come to recreate that work. You know what I mean? So have a fresh approach to traditional methods and use the traditional methods to solve current problems.
I have a brand called Vago Ceramics. I make sculptural objects and art installations. For this room this year, we partnership with the Ojo Mariana. She does tapestries. So we wanted to make collaborative pieces. So we did some pieces like that have the ceramics and the arreolos mixed together. And then we did a small installation here on the wall where we connect all the pieces through ceramics. And this piece here is also a collaborative piece where the top of the sculpture was made with the fabric where Mariana does the arreolos with plaster. So we did almost, it looks like a ceramic, but we did it with that material, so we were blending the two materials together. For this collaboration, we were working apart, but she was living in Italy. So we did everything long distance, and we only put everything together 2 weeks ago when she moved back to Portugal. So it was a bit of an unknown how it would work out. I have the experience of living in London for 15 years, and Mariana was living in Italy at the time. So we started talking about, what we had in common, and then that was one of the things we had in common. So we thought that a theme for the room would be how much we change by moving away and having cultural interactions, and how we change over time because of those. And in my case, I decided to do a body of work where I explored my theme was how you can feel as a stranger when you go away and when you come back home. Because on that time that you go away, you change. So when you come back home, you also feel like a stranger at home. So for this body of work, I called it Now Here Nowhere, because it's I think it's how we live nowadays, that we are okay everywhere. So the now and here we're fine, but the truth is we end up not belonging very much anywhere anymore. which is not sad. I think it's great. I love the mix. I love that people, mix together and learn new things. So for me, I was very happy with these sculptures and the vessels. They all have a story arc. So it starts on one side, and I tell you the story till that one.
Which means the origins of Portugal are migrants which came from the north, and they came here to establish on the land, and it was a mix between Portuguese and Spanish because it wasn't really defined back then.
So Lusitans was the people who settled on this stretch of land.
Yeah.
The idea was that when we came here to move back to Portugal, we started to meet up with people like-minded designers. We started to search for these people, to start to connect with them, and we love their work, the studios which we gathered here. We love their work individually, but we were thinking and we just fell in love with the idea to have them collectively in one place and see how we can clash together. And I think you can see this beautiful synergy which is going on here. And we just love the power of gathering, really.
Technically, we kind of share the same mythology, more or less. I mean, some of us, we produce stuff ourselves. Others, we're commissioning. But when we're commissioning, because it's kind of such a limited edition relationship, you develop kind of this common ground with also your craftsmen. And that's also something that Portugal allows for. And that's why many people are also coming for it. And I think in the end, we kind of have this common ground where, some of us are producing, some of us are producing and designing, and we take the best of the land and we expose it the best way, and we are inspired by it, I think, also as well. There's a lot of identity which people seek, and I think that's also important, be it Casa di Moschi or Studio Gameiro, which is more architectural, be it us there, or be it Machea, which actually has a really strong identity to, for example, Bunyu, this weaving technique, and mixing it with something industrial. So I think we all have our hands in similar things, but we have, of course, different approaches to it. And I think this kind of relationship that develops between all of us showcases different versions of what is happening right now in the Portuguese design scene.
I think Luso generally is a very dynamic thing.
Yeah.
Because we just started and we're going to shape it and polish definitely for future months.
The idea of Nossa Terra exhibition was really to present a diversity of products done in Portugal, showing the capacity of different kind of creative mind to shape and use terracotta as a material. So you have projects from illustrator, artists, architects, designers, and all of them are also very different because some of them are very young and some of them are internationally recognized. So the idea is to really use these artifacts to show an overview of how creative people can do things out of terracotta, but also how Portugal is a land where even an humble material as terracotta can be used to express different kind of talents. So I choose terracotta because I think it's a relevant material nowadays, because it's an humble material, come from our earth, And there is also some ecological reasons which I think are relevant. The fact that you don't need to fire it very high, so it can be cooked on a low temperature, so you spend less energy. And then terracotta is always coming from the region where the factory are, so you don't need to import ceramic from a different country. So there is also ecological saving on that, no transportation. And also it's a beautiful material because it gives the opportunity to show the different habits of different regions of Portugal. You know, there is always a kind of terracotta factory somewhere. But north of Portugal doesn't cook and eat the same way that south of Portugal. So you can find a oven shape from north of Portugal made of terracotta, and it's going to be very different from south of Portugal. And then the way they put water in a jar is very different, because if you live in the countryside, they were used to take the water jar with them to work in the field, where if you are speaking about Lisbonese, the water jar is something that you place on the table to impress your friends. So even a very simple material as terracotta is a way also to transmit the culture and differences, details of how design is a way also to express who we are.
Welcome to Oficina Marques and to Bucolica exhibition. This year we invite Andringa Studio and BOSQUE Concepts Studio, and together we think about how can do this new story. It's inspired by the celebration of the nature. We did a ceramic collection. Andringa Studio has made the installation, and BOSQUE bring the nature to the gallery. We decided to do a collection of utilitarian and decorative ceramics, so like can holders, big ice buckets for champagne, some plates. Bucolica collection, it's a collection of one-of-a-kind piece and some limited edition. But in the end, they are all unique pieces because they are hand building, so handmade. All the glaze we do it by hand, so it's a work made by me and my partner Jesus. So they are all different with their own personality. So even, for example, these 6 pieces we have here, they all different because we paint each one by hand. So we opt to play with different glaze in each other. The idea of this collection is to be very natural. So that's why we play with different glazes, transparent glazes, shiny and matte. Okay, so all the pieces are glazed, even the ones they are not, they are, because most of them are matte, so you can feel and see the texture of the stoneware, and that's the idea. So when you see and you touch these pieces, you feel like you are in dialogue or on a direct contact with the nature. We use the blues to bring this idea of water, the sky, and then the greens to the botanical elements, and then you can see this dialogue in all the materials, not on the ceramics, but also on the structure. Andringa Studio, they are known for their use with the natural fibers, and they mimetize these fibers on this structure through the fabrics. And then you can see on the landscape that BOSQUE creates. So we bring natural elements, all the plants. Here you can see then another example of scale. So outside we have a macro scale, and then here they bring the micro scale, and then you can see the roots. So all this dialogue about scales, nature, the human creation. We like to collaborate because we think, so even Oficina Marques, it's a very plural studio, so we are two artists that work together, so our core, it's made of plurality, but we like to explore stories with other people, so we do a lot of partnerships, and this is one example of how we can together do something bigger than just do it by ourselves.